Hello and welcome back to the Obojima Podcast. My name is Jeremiah and I am joined with Adam and Ari, and we are the writers of Obojima. We are sitting down for our weekly writers meeting where we talk D&D, we talk Obojima, we talk other things. And in this week's episode, we are talking about a rogue subclass, a new one. But you might be familiar with the main mechanics because we briefly mentioned them in a different subclass from several episodes ago. The Fumashiki Ranger. So we've put more thought into the Fumashiki, and I personally want to pull the luck ritual concept out of the Fumashiki. And thus, I'm giving it to a rogue. We're putting it somewhere else because it's a good idea. And so,
thus the rogue was born.
This week we are talking about the lucky rogue, the gambling rogue. I don't know what we want to call this rogue. The gambler's subclass, the luck subclass, the lucky rogue, something. I don't know. We'll come up with a cool name.
The slickety chance rogue.
The slickety chance rogue. But the idea of a rogue who maybe magically has like a supernatural luck that they utilize.
Bend the odds in their favor.
They bend the odds in their favor, and they use it to overcome circumstances. And so the luck ritual from the Fumashiki functions as this. I'll give this as the base. You roll a d20 for all of your d20 tests, but you also roll a dice like a d4 or a d6 or a d8. And if at any given point your d20 die is lower than the other die, you get to add a 10 to it. So it's like if I rolled a d4 with my d20 and I rolled a 3, it actually is a 13. And then you expend that extra die and you get rid of it. So that would be like, I don't know, a use of your luck would be that core ability.
What do you use those for?
On anything.
Or just to replace the d20 roll?
Just to replace the d20 roll. Yeah. So it's a d20 test, and essentially it's one of those situations where like I rolled really low, but because I'm lucky, that's actually good for me. And so like when it's a D4, you have to roll a 3 or lower.
Moderately lucky.
When it's a D6, it's like, okay, if I roll a 5 or lower, I'm getting something. And when it's a D8, if I roll a 7, like these could be really good rolls. A 7 plus 10 is 17. Like that's pretty decent.
Do you get to add your performance
bonus, I think it would act exactly like any D20 test. So like if your D20 test, like let's say you were doing a stealth check and you get a +6, you'd still add your +6. It's
so it could be.
It's basically just replacing your d20 roll. That mechanic of rolling 2 dice and kind of inverting the expectation of like, I want to roll high naturally, but I also don't hate if I roll super low, because when I roll super low, I get this kind of benefit. It's that middle ground that really stinks for you. Like the 9s and 10s and 12s where it's like, this isn't the best. I think that mechanic is really interesting. And so I wanted to play around with maybe expanding on that mechanic and or adding that as like one of the uses, but potentially there's other options for this rogue to kind of, expend luck in some way. So yeah, let's talk about that. What does this look? What is this? How does this subclass even exist within Obojima?
So I want to talk about the concept of luck, first of all.
Sure.
And how it relates to the game. So luck can be interpreted, and there's like the meta version of luck, which I'm trying to hit you, and I, as the player, roll a d20, and it doesn't go my way as the player, and now it makes it easier for me to hit you. So that's the player becoming, like, manipulating the dice so that they hit more. In the cinematic version, if I'm playing the movie in my head, me swinging a sword at you and then hitting you is more a sign of like I'm good at hitting you as opposed to I've just got lucky, right? Yeah. Good fortune would be sitting at a game of dice or a poker table and I get all the hands that I need to get, right? Or if I'm like, man, I really wish I had a toothpick right now or whatever, and then you reach into your pocket like, oh crap, there's a toothpick that I'd forgotten about, right? Yeah. Right? You get the thing that you need. So there's in-game luck and there's in-world luck. Yeah. And what's the thing we want to get at with this?
Interesting. So there's like meta luck. And then
there's the luck of just like, this game is already about random outcomes. Yeah. Right? The game of Dungeons and Dragons is I'm not sure what's going to happen, my skills at a particular thing, whether I'm attacking or trying to pick a lock or doing whatever, that basically makes it easier for me to succeed, but it's still a random chance of success, right? Just if I'm good at a thing, it's more likely that I'm going to succeed.
Yeah.
But I still don't know until I roll the dice. So, are we talking about that where it's like your dice rolls as the player, that's what the luck is manipulating, or is it manipulating the story of what's going on?
So as you're role playing the
Yes.
DM, you're like, oh, I need this to make my story happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay.
Like, yeah.
It's hard, right? Because the story element of it is so situational that it makes it incredibly difficult to build a mechanic around it.
Like if I were to leap off a building, I was like, oh my God. And then my luck kicks in. And it just so happens that a truck carrying mattresses drives
like
right
a
by.
Buster Keaton movie.
Exactly. Yeah. Is that how it works? Like in...
You stab a wine skin, it spills wine on the floor. An hour later, the bad guy slips on it as they're running away from you. And you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like that. But that's mechanically, how do you make that function?
Exactly. So that's what we have to figure out. Like, what are we trying to solve for when we say this is a character that's based on luck? Or it's also different things. Like, if this is a character that manipulates their own luck, there's an active role in that if we're saying that they're magical. If this is just a character that is just lucky, that to me feels like a sorcerer.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, because they're just that's
born
something
with
about their nature that just things just work out for me.
Yeah.
Like that's different to me than a character who's actively manipulating their fortune.
Like they kind of seen through the matrix and they're like manipulating. They're like, oh, I can, if I make some rolls, I can actually tip the cupboard over and then the person will trip on it. So I'm manipulating my environment almost kind of like it's not that they're telekinetically doing it, but they're kind of pushing the world to make them lucky.
Yeah.
So what does that? Yeah. What does that look like?
Well, I think of the ways you can manifest magic is the start. So let's assume it's magical. Like, are they practitioners that have learned how to produce this on their own through maybe ritual or something like that? Have they made a deal? Have they, which, now we're leaning into warlock. Have they maybe inherited this luck in some way? Not necessarily through like, I'm a sorcerer who got this, but like, like the Dread Pirate Robbins type situation where it's like, I killed the previous lucky person on an accident and now I have obtained this
touched
magic.
by good luck, basically.
Yeah. Like, by circumstance, this was given to me and now I have it. And in time it will pass on. It could be like, you think of magic in Obojima, and we kind of did this, this table that breaks down the different types of magic, which we've talked about in the past. And it's like nature magic fits under like Obojima's will, and a bunch of different categories like that branches off into a bunch of different categories. And then there's like, magic, created, and then there's memories, and then there's spirit magic, and there's like kind of these different things. Is there just like a fifth element of magic that's just like luck? Like
fortune,
fortune, which just exists, or is that part of nature magic in itself?
Yeah,
like it's just like I don't know.
And is luck something you can wield? Like luck implies kind of that I'm just derping along through life and good things just happen to me, and I'm like, oh, I wish I had a chicken sandwich, and then all of a sudden it's like chicken sandwich delivery, and you're like, awesome. It's like. I didn't have agency over that. I wasn't like, I'm going to cast a spell, or I'm going to try to manipulate reality, because I was thinking about if I tip over the thing, it's like I'm having agency, and so therefore it's not lucky.
Correct. It's just an ability you have.
It's just an ability I have. So,
or it's like a lucky person if somebody were to go to shoot you and their gun jams. It's like, wow, I was really fortunate, kind of thing.
So it's almost like, in the metaverse, like me as a player, I want something to happen. But my character is like, doesn't know kind of what I'm doing. And I'm like, the DM's like, hey, the guy shoots the arrow, hits you. And I'm like, oh, as a player, I've got it, I'm going to make my luck roll. And so I have agency to do the thing. But my character, then in, like you're saying, in the story world, the character has no idea that all this meta stuff's going on. But then the arrow kind of at the last minute, like, turns into, a goose feather and poof. And the guy's like,
but that's not luck. Like an arrow turning into goose feather isn't something that would ever randomly happen.
Yeah.
So, but like, you had the coin in your pocket, and the arrow just as you turn, it happens ping right off that. That's luck.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
and also like, what is luck in Obojima? Like, could something weird happen in Obojima?
That's kind of that's what you're talking about in terms of like, is luck an actual force of some kind, right?
So there's a couple different things that I'm thinking of here. One of them is like just how much this subclass could rely on good role playing to really feel fleshed out. In the sense that like I can mechanically make it so I'm just manipulating rolls, as we had mentioned. But then if the DM and player do a good job, then it's like I think callbacks to things that had previously
the
occurred
reason things happen
is a big explanation to the luck of this all. So it's like I could have a roll that's just like they hit you, and it's like, well, maybe re-roll that or whatever, and it's like, oh, how do they miss you? And if the DM goes, well, they slip on the wine that you had spilt earlier, that's your luck. But that's hard to make, so that's hard to mechanicalize.
Yeah, and maybe that's a thing to do, is that there might be these kind of, if you, one of the things we talked about a little bit was this idea of maybe you can push your luck if this is a thing, right? So let's say there's a thing that, you might have, I don't know mechanically how this works out, but let's say the majority of this subclass, the mechanics live in reactions.
Yeah.
Right? So you're using your reaction to basically affect the outcome of events.
Yeah.
But if you want to actively use your luck, like I'm actually gonna try to push it here, then there's a chance things can go sideways for you. Does that make sense? Like you can use all of your luck reactively, and things just kind of, you're in the right place at the right time. You notice as you close the window because it's drafty, it smashes the fingers of the assassin that was about to climb through the the window and kill you or whatever. Like that's all cool. Again, it takes a lot of fun role play to really, I think, make a subclass like that sing. But I think you could do that potentially living in reactions.
Yeah.
And then, but what are you doing outside of combat, right? Because reactions are not a thing outside of combat. So we have to kind of figure that out. But
you could have situations where you purposely leave it vague, kind of like prestidigitation, where you would have a minor ability that says something like, once a day you can find a minor object you need. Where it's like, it's kind of like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. There's the moment where, and this is obviously time travel, but there's the moment where they're in the police station, and I can't remember who it is, but they're like, I think it's Bill is like, we need the keys. If the future of us think about this, they leave the keys for us in this bush. They're here.
Awesome.
And it's like, whoa, yeah. So you could almost have it be like, maybe it's not like future us thinking of it, but it's like, wouldn't it be great if there was a broomstick right here, and then you're like, something falls over and you're like, oh, a broomstick. So you could have something where it's kind of like up to the DM to say like, that's out of your luck's capability. But if it's minor enough, you can be like, oh, maybe it is.
Yeah.
Maybe I, like, for example, the keys to the cage that you're locked in are just randomly left there. That might be a little too much. But like perhaps a bone that you can fashion a lockpick out of, that's a different thing, right?
I love this because it's like one of the things that we've done, and you've encouraged us to do this, which is like that we're doing like the basic version of role playing. Like you have your basic mechanics that kind of handhold you through the thing, but then there's this sort of advanced level, like the hero's boon journey, or the hero's boon stuff. That's all kind of advanced level role playing and advanced level dungeon mastering. Like if you want to kind of delve into that aspect of this game, that really puts another level on top of sort of like what kind of storytelling you're going to do and what kind of game you're going to play. And there's this it's kind of an advanced level of dungeon mastering role playing. And it's the same thing here. It's sort of like, and we started tip on this in like sort of adventure writing, like, you know, writing adventures that all kind of weave together and you can run multiple adventures at the same time. But I think with this thing, it's like there's the base version, which I think we can do mechanically. But then I think there's an advanced version of this, which is kind of what we're talking about, which is like, you know, you can do it where it's like, hey, I want to make my luck roll. Bing, you did it. Oh, sweet. All right, great. I did the thing. Or you can do it where it's like the DM knows, like, I'm playing one of these lucky characters. And it's like, now everything I do can have some kind of repercussion later, you know?
Yeah.
And maybe that it's indicated. The DM could be like, all right, you're going to do something that requires some of your luck or whatever. You do it, and the DM's like, okay. And you're like, well, guess nothing happened. But the DM's kind of already made a mental note. I know how that's going to play out, like, later on. And so it kind of doesn't have to be, I guess, an either or. It's like you can lump it all into one thing. But this subclass has sort of an advanced lever or an advanced mode, should you so choose to play that, which I think is really cool.
I mean, it really depends on how complicated we want to make this. But, you know, there is a version where you can kind of the player can kind of be like, I'm going to call them luck points, even though that might be confused for the lucky feat, but you'll get the idea. Luck points. The player, there's almost a situation where like players like, I'm going to spend 2 luck points right now. And it's like, and there's almost like a time thing, or it's like, maybe the luck points equate to like a DC or an amount of damage. I don't know what it is, but it's just like, in the next hour, if something really weird was going to happen, my luck points are like a fail safe for me. And so then the DM is like, you all get caught off guard and the explosion goes off. And it's like, everyone roll a dexterity check. And it's like, except for you stop to tie your shoe right before the explosion happens, because your luck points retroactively, like, you prepared yourself. You spent the luck points earlier in advance, and they retroactively, like, and then you get this fun like vignette where the DM gets to explain just like how you by chance stopped this thing from occurring. And so there's still a little like player agency.
It's a buff, ahead of time.
It's a buff that you don't know how it's going to play off.
Yeah.
And it just kind of plays off the first instance that the DM, like, it can. So you don't know if it's like, am I going to be using this on combat? I don't know. Is this going to happen on a dexterity check? I don't know. Is this a skill check that it's going to help me on? Like, it just kind of occurs in the first instance it can.
And I also like what Ari was saying about pushing your luck, and maybe this can kind of factor into the whole thing. This idea that if I am bidding luck points, if I bid 1 or 2, it's a kind of a mild bid. It's like saying, I'm going to be a little bit lucky here, but I'm not going to be like ridiculously lucky. But I could say, I'm going to push my luck. I'm going to bid 5. And then it's like, oh, okay. But there's a chance that because you pushed your luck, now there's a chance it could flip and you could be unlucky. Like, you could this could actually work out bad for you. But if it works out good for you, if you are truly lucky, you can like dodge a huge bullet, or you can save your whole party. Like, it could be that kind of a thing. And maybe there's a scale of like 1 to 2 points. It's just like small piddlings.
Is it fully gambling? Do we make it so you could spend these luck points as reactions and
lucky?
They do a thing, or you can spend
enough?
them in advance and they have a bigger effect?
I love
but there's
advanced.
a chance that they just like in an hour it fades and you never got to use them.
I saw a thing where a guy he sold everything he had, and he had like $139,000, and he went to some place and he put everything on number 7. Red 7, and he rolled the roulette wheel, and everybody's freaking out. There's a huge crowd around him. He's just like, here we go. This is my life. And he won, and he doubled it. And then he went and he took it and he did something else with it. But I was just like, holy smokes. Like, that could be what this character's like. It could be like, I'm going to push it. I could gamble a little bit, but I could also
push your luck. You could also do things where, let's say you get your luck several times. There might be like, now you're on a lucky streak, and that could mean something. Like, while you're on a lucky streak, something is going on, right? So you could play with that. It's like when you're lucky, you're feeling you're feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
And then like
You're in the zone.
yeah, you're in the zone.
Yeah.
Everything's coming up me. You know,
Yeah.
like that's really cool.
It's like you could get on a tear, and maybe we have something where the DM behind the scenes is like the winds of fortune. And it's like maybe there's a roll that they make, or they look on a chart, or they look on a table, and the DM's like, oh, the winds of luck are blowing. And so, but the player doesn't know that. And the player's like, oh, you know.
And there could be something interesting that happens. Like, it's almost like you wouldn't want to see it because then it wouldn't help for gambling. But like, there's almost like a twinkle in their eye, right? Like when they're on. And then like, you could have a lucky person sit across like the, a poker table from somebody and then realize somebody else is also feeling lucky. And you're like,
I'm going to bid it all.
yeah. Okay.
All right.
And now I'm going to test my luck against somebody else's luck, like, which is it's kind of cool.
Kind of interesting.
Yeah. I like the bidding mechanic part of it because it's a risk.
And I think one of the things that we get to do with Obojima is we get to make certain things that are a little bit more niche. Like this should appeal to the player who wants to do that.
Yeah, this is an opt-in.
This is probably not for everyone.
Yeah.
Somebody who wants more certainty in their abilities. Okay, there are lots of options between baseline D&D and what's offered in the Obojima book.
Yeah.
Make this for the person who wants this, and I think that there's something there.
It's pretty cool.
I dig it.
I dig it too. Now there's also something that you said earlier about a table that I think could potentially be interesting, where you might be able to leave your luck up to luck, where it's like, I'm going to use a luck point or whatever it is. And then you roll on a table and you're like, what? I have no idea what boon I'm about to get, but I hope it's a good one or something like that. Or maybe it's like, bless you. Maybe you roll a number and it's like, let's say it's on a D10 and you roll a 7 and you can pick one of the three abilities, one above the number you rolled or the number above it or below it. And it's like, oh, I think, like healing would be great. I didn't get that right now. So instead I'm going to get like a little pep in my step or something, and you get like advantage on something like that. I mean, that's a possibility too, where it's like you have a collection of random things you could potentially get.
And that seems to kind of fall into, if we want to, we could develop sort of I'm thinking of like, what is actually the force of luck in Obojima? Yeah. Is it astrological? Does it have to do with spirits and how the spirit realm is moving underneath? Does it have to do with some like the winds, how the wind moves across the island? Does it have to do with...
I just realized we already play with luck in Obojima.
Do we?
We have a feat.
Oh. Tell us more.
Although we don't call it luck, it is luck. The feat is called Bumbling Fool. There it is. Yeah. You have a peculiar way of fumbling through life that somehow always works out in your favor, succeeding in situations that others might view as accidental luck. When you fail an ability check and roll a number on the die equal to half your level, rounded up, or lower, you can choose to replace the die roll with a 15 instead. You can use this ability 3 times, and then you don't get them again until you're... So we are already playing with this idea of luck within Obojima.
I mean, do we leave it unexplained? Do we just say nobody understands luck?
I think that's really cool. And I think it's also something that I could imagine the Nakudama would have a lot to say about the concept of luck and good fortune and all of this kind of stuff. And just like, they might resent lucky people and like all of this kind of stuff. There might be like stories about, luck.
Why do I feel like all like half the Nakadama are degenerate gamblers who are just like, dang it,
curses! I don't have the
only I was
thumb.
Lucky.
Yeah. All the Nakadama have these little
the lily
white
pads
thumbs.
are with me tonight.
But Juan has a green thumb. His thumb was the greenest of all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's cool that it is this kind of unexplained thing that is most people aren't even sure exists. And I think the cool version, if I was playing a lucky rogue, I probably wouldn't even think it's a magical thing. Like my character's just like, I'm just, I can't explain it, guys. This. I'm a good gambler, I guess.
Blessed by Obojima.
There is also a really, really, really interesting version of this. I don't know if people would like this, where you get like a pool of luck points or something like that, and you just don't get to choose when they get used. The DM just has them and then like marks them off when they're used, and then just explains the situation to you. Where it's like, you don't know how much luck you have left. Like maybe you can feel your luck going away, and maybe it starts off with like 15 or something. And like, the DM's like, you narrowly dodge this situation. Dude. And then you're like and it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. And they explain this crazy way that you escape. And then like eventually you're like, you've been dodging every arrow until one of them hits you in the back, and you're like, guys, I'm out of luck.
Wow.
We got to scram.
That's cool. I was thinking of like, is this pool, does it replenish every long rest, or is it finite?
I think it replenishes. I think maybe you can access the pool, but you don't know how much has been used by the DM either. So like the DM and you both have access to this pool, and you're like, I'm going to use 2 luck points. And the DM's like, no, you're not.
What if it's like we had earlier on, we're saying you could bid beforehand. Like I'm gonna when I wake up in the morning, I'm gonna bid this many luck points. It could also be that you are only able to do it in the moment when you need the luck, and that way it's like, do I feel lucky? And you ask the DM. The DM's like, you got not a lot left, and you're like, I want to bid 3, and the DM's like, well, you get 1. That's how much you got left, because I've been like ticking them off. There could be that kind of fun game between the DM and the player.
It's quite interesting.
That's definitely, it puts more on the DM than classes normally do.
Yeah.
I think it could be fun, or just one of those warnings.
Hold on, it does not put more on the what's that one subclass, the sorcerer one that's like you roll in a D100 or something. Okay. the bane of DM's existence, the wild mage.
Yep.
That drives me insane. All right, but yes, you are right. It
so
does more.
There also is something that we could plug into. You mentioned luck points before with the lucky feat. And lucky, like, it still uses, it's an origin feat now, but it still uses like a number of luck points. Proficiency bonus. You could also build something that uses luck points. They could get this feat, so there is a way that they can just use it.
Yeah,
perhaps, or so there is just already a mechanism within the core rules that you can plug into with luck points. Like that is something that they could use.
The lucky.
Yeah, there's something interesting here. I don't know exactly how this will play out as like a subclass.
Yeah, it might not work. It might be ridiculous, but like the concept appeals to me. Whether as a rogue, if there is the sorcerer version of it instead, like that feels a little different to me. But if we want like something that really they get to kind of push their luck in this way, it sounds like I think it could work for a rogue.
I like the rogue option the most.
Yeah. And also, like, we can do it right now, like the thought experiment of like, okay, I roll up this character and I go on an adventure in Obojima. What do I want my lucky rogue to be able to do, and how do I want to play it? Like, how does that play at the table? And what is my expectation? What would like, I'm trying to think right now, like what would make me super happy where I'm like, oh, I feel lucky. And in some ways, I almost feel like I want to either bid points, like I have X amount of luck points, and I can either play them at the moment. So maybe like, okay, this would make me be excited. Like I've got, say, every day I wake up and I've got 3 luck points I can burn.
Sure.
And I'm like, all right, I've got my 3 luck points. And as I play, I'm walking across the bridge, and then it's raining and it's slippery, and everybody else is like, don't do it. And there's like missing wood and it's all rotted. And I'm like, no, I'm going to do it because I'm lucky. So I'm going to go skipping across the bridge, and I get to a point and I screw up my roll and it slips. And I'm like, going to burn a luck point. And I need to make up, like I missed by 6 points. And the DM's like, all right. And I'm like, I'm going to burn one of my luck points. And it's like, okay, I'm going to do it. But I could burn 3 to make sure I definitely make the roll, or I could just burn 1. And what happens is when I burn a point, the DM on their end rolls a die, and they get to say, here's how much you get to add to it. And they give me, if they say they roll a d6, and if they roll a 1, they give me a d4. If I roll a 2, they give me a d6. Or if they roll 2 through, it's like 3 or 4. And then if they roll a 5 or 6, they give me a d10 or a d8. And so I slip, I miss by 6, and they roll and they give me, and I'm only going to bet 1. Then it might only be able to give me a d4. And I'm like, that doesn't help me. I'm not lucky enough.
Yeah.
But if I'm like, I want to make it, a bid 2. So that could be one way.
That to me still doesn't quite feel like luck, and I'll explain why.
Yeah.
So if I go from slipping to not slipping, that just shows I'm good at walking across this log. If I go from slipping into, the gorge far below, or if I make my luck, I go into falling into a big bird's nest, and within the nest, there's a skeleton of what these birds ate, and within that skeleton, there is a pouch of gold coin.
Yes.
Wow.
There you go. That's great.
Like that is good fortune. Holy crap. Not only did I fall, I fell into money. Like
So there is a
that's it.
Ari is unlocking a can of worms here, which is failure, but which is what does luck look like when your failure then turns into something
You're
good
failing
for you.
forward.
I think that's another, to go back to the wineskin, perhaps the wineskin, like I went to attack you and I missed, hit the wineskin, and it helped me later. You fell, but you found the key you guys needed to get into, or you found a secret entrance to the house that you're trying to go into.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
So like, how does, can luck points be used more effectively when you fail? Like because it's like, oh, I've already failed, but now I'm gonna spend it to like get a little something extra or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, we're that exactly. I think that's the big thing to solve. Because if it's just at a failure, the higher level you get, like the harder it becomes to fail.
Yeah.
Which means you're using your stuff less and less as you level up. So like you fumble and fail a lot when you're at lower levels, and so like I'm wondering if there's a way to use it reactively and then also use your luck actively.
Yeah.
How do you do that? There's also a thing to consider. Again, we've talked about this before in other subclasses. Like, if I'm lucky, I don't choose that subclass until 3rd level.
Yeah.
What the hell does that mean? I was not lucky, and then I hit 3rd level, and now I'm lucky.
Yeah.
So are you learning the skill of manipulating the odds in your favor? Or is it at 3rd level you are inducted into
the Luck Hall of Fame?
Right. No, I'm saying like, did somebody come and like give you the lucky coin, and now it's like you're one of us?
I think it depends on how we decide. Yeah, how we decide luck operates within Obojima. If it's a thing you can manipulate, then it's something that you've learned at 3rd level. If it is a gift passed on to you through an interaction, then that's the person that you interact with.
Mm-hmm. Like somebody was lucky, like you said, like the Dread Pirate Robert. So they were lucky. They did their thing. They spent all their luck or whatever it was, and then they just hand the lucky coin over to you or whatever. Yeah. Or you beat them in a gambling game.
You beat them in a gambling game.
Like, oh crap, you took my luck.
That's that's a really interesting. I mean, I personally lean towards that because I think that's such an interesting way of like passing on. What it says to me is luck is a force of nature or a force within Obojima, and there's a finite amount of it.
Interesting.
And not everyone can access it. And
Zero sum.
sometimes you fall out of luck's favor.
Yeah.
And luck goes to someone else.
If I'm lucky, you're unlucky.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of why earlier on I was
It also says that this subclass is not forever. Like there's a chance you get to 15.
That's what I was saying earlier, because I was asking you, is it a finite pool? Because if it isn't, because I was thinking Obojima, a lot of the theme of this is that we're not talking about you're going to go to level 20. It might be that this character goes to 5th level and runs out of luck, and you're done. You're not lucky anymore, and that's the end.
You're just a rogue.
You're just a rogue.
You're just a rogue without any subclass features.
Yeah. And
unless
isn't that
way,
weird? Like,
unless there's a way, because again, I'm using just like the cliche terms. you're on a lucky streak or whatever. Can you manufacture your own luck?
Yeah.
Like, is that a thing you can do?
Or does your luck run out? That guy over there, he used to be all this stuff, but his luck ran out. He's just sitting in the corner, just like puffing on a pipe or something.
Kind of interesting.
I
to
like
think
that.
about.
I
Yeah.
like that it's finite.
I think it's cool.
So for those of you out there who are listening to this, who this is for you, that's who we want to listen. That's what we want to hear on this one.
What do you want?
If this is appealing to you.
If you like this, what sounds fun?
Yeah.
What sounds fun? We said a lot of different things. What sounds fun?
And DMs also, what is like the willingness level to engage with a subclass like this? I know because it's more of a burden.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's like
but it's memory making, right?
There's
That
so
makes
much.
a good
There's
story.
a lot of
it's provoking
meat on the bones.
role playing, and it's provoking that kind of for the DM to think on their feet and to create these kind of cool moments and to allow for. I don't know how this is going to play out in the story, but it's going to create the moment will arise.
D&D at its best is about those cool payoffs, right?
Yeah.
Like everything up to that point is a setup, and then like an awesome payoff is just like, this is brilliant.
Yeah.
It's the forethought on the DM's part to call back to a moment from earlier.
Yeah.
I think that's what this subclass really needs.
And it's weird, the for the times I've DM'd, there are those moments, and they just fall into your lap. It's like the magic
almost
of
every
the game.
time.
It's
They always emerge.
It's the magic of the game, and
Yeah.
if you just allow it to happen and you just trust the process, it does. It just falls, and you're like, oh my god! And everybody at the table is like almost saying it at the same time because they know this is the moment.
Yeah.
Oh, you remember that thing you did? Oh my god, here it is.
Can we all say it? Push him in the river.
Push him in there.
I don't know. Thank you so much for joining us on the Obojima Podcast. This was the Lucky Rogue of some sort. Let us know in the comments your thoughts on the subclass. Follow us on Discord, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Reddit, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, YouTube.
I don't know. I always say that one.
YouTube, yeah.
And D&D Beyond.
And D&D Beyond. Go to D&D Beyond. Check out Obojima there as well.
Yeah.
Go to the website.
Go to the website. Do all the things. And we'll catch you later. Bye.